place. I'm sure he probably does over there, but we'll have to get with him and go over that. And I will be at the school board meeting Monday night, next Monday night, and we will present that to them so that they can, right now, unofficially, the school is an evacuation point for anybody that is affected by, if this is a possibility, they are an unofficial point to have people as, housed as shelter. I'm not really sure if there's any papers in place with the fire department or anyone else. Now, Mike had mentioned this some time ago, so I will double check on it, and but we will have that posted also, that information of that, and just in case we have, it comes to that. Like Tom said, right now it's a possibility, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this doesn't happen, because we have too many people that live on the river that would be affected by this. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people over there that are handicapped. And,
right. Well, that's what we talked about today, and there are quite a few elderly people over there that, are on medication, they're on oxygen, they use walkers, or they're bedridden even, some of them. So that's what we have to look at right now. The people that are mobile, the younger people, they can put their plans in place and they can, follow that emergency plan that they have set up. I don't even live in the flood zone, and I have an emergency plan, so.
But is there some way that maybe as a town we can try to?
We'll have to have and we'll have to consider that very shortly, within the next couple of weeks, because I'll be gone all next week, but we'll have to have some kind of meeting to set up those plans, those interim plans, and just in case. And then, of course, Tom and Audrey will be on top of it also, and they'll keep us informed. So.
Okay, because if we set something up, I'd like to see something more than just for a possibility of flooding.
We can set up a permanent,
someplace where the elderly can go.
And we can do that if we have a couple of meetings, and get that in place and present it, and we can actually have that plan in place, present it to the council, and we'll go from there, because we do need to have some kind of a plan in place, and have had to have one for a long time, because of the people that do live on the river. Their property are the ones that are, I'm concerned about right now. But we have, like I said, a lot of people that live over there.
So go ahead.
Well, if I may interject, if you would like if you'd like me to come back over and sit down with your fire chief and maybe some additional council members and go through some potential scenarios and just talk through it. I think the best thing we can do at this point is just keep the communication lines open and talk about what resources we do have and what scenarios we need to go through. I also I forgot to mention that the county as a resource has sand and sandbags available down in Bridger, several thousand of them. If residents need them, they're free of cost. We just need you to fill the bags.
And Joliet.
And Joliet.
And if there's more bags necessary, we can send some down from Red Lodge.
Right, and our employees can go over and get those in the truck or whatever.
But let me know if you'd like
Okay. Well,
to schedule something else.
do you want to set up a meeting in a week's time to try to get the council and get some people together so we can try to get a plan in place? Or talk to Mike and see what we got as far as.
Let's talk with Mike and see when he's available. We have to look at schedules for not only you, but Nate also. Except for 3 days this week actually. I'll be gone, but I don't know what Nate's schedule is right now.
Something like that, time's kind of of the essence. I can get off from work for it. It's no big deal if I talk to
And
him.
then I think Jim is free pretty much most of the time.
I'm gonna be tied up quite a bit this next couple, 3 weeks, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. But yes, if you guys want to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think my one concern is, and I've been down there to dump branches and stuff, is you guys definitely need sand down there ASAP. That we as residents can get to handily to fill sandbags. There's just not enough down there to do anything if there was a flood tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about that today, with TJ and the guys are gonna get some sand and take it down there, so that was discussed this morning.
And where are they gonna keep the sandbags? They're gonna have to get some coming, and they're gonna keep them in the city shop, and
Right, we have a room in there.
then they just come talk to Brenda and say, hey, we're gonna start sandbagging.
They can contact City Hall, or they can contact me, or they can contact TJ. Or Bill, one of the two.
Okay.
They'll have the sandbags at the shop, so,
Okay.
and we will, I'll have Brenda post a little map of where the sand is, so that they can go in there and get it.
Okay.
But anytime you guys are available next week is fine. Just pick a date and we'll go ahead and set up a meeting on that. Say the 13th. Or no,
May 13th?
I'm looking at June, sorry. May 18th. 16th? Let me get to the 16th. Can't see with my glasses, can't see with my
16th is Wednesday.
Yeah. I would think the 16th, for me.
Yeah, I'm fine. With that much heads up, I can get it off.
And will Bill be back by then?
What's that?
Will Bill be back by then?
Yeah, he should be. He's
It
just
will-
gone till
yeah.
midweek.
What time?
That's up to you guys. I'm
Tell me
available
whatever's
on,
easiest for you guys. I'm pretty flexible. I'd say 5 and do it. Yeah, it's 5 or after
5?
even.
4 or 5?
Rather than making somebody ruin the whole evening.
okay,
For 5? 4 o'clock? 5 o'clock?
5 p.m., is that?
5 p.m.?
And, okay, and I will, call Mike and see if he can attend the meeting also.
Okay. Because right now, we're depending heavily on the fire departments as our emergency.
Yes, and I'm sure they have one in place, I just haven't seen it yet, and Mike's been working, so, well, but we'll get with him and find out. Are there any other questions?
I have one. Is the town gonna set aside a fund for that? Because the people who are gonna be displaced, all their food, all their, I envision, an older lady in her nightgown and her slippers and her, well, yeah, going in a boat to rescue them, so I'm just wondering, Audrey,
Well,
I'm just,
if
is
this,
there gonna be food, or is there gonna, are you gonna, as a town, I guess my question is, as a town, are you gonna set aside any resources, funding resources, to be able to feed those people for being there? Cause it sounds like if that part is not a intricate part of it, that there's funding to actually take care of that.
okay, well, we talked about that this afternoon also, and, we do have a lot of agencies that would be available in case, and this is not a done deal, this is a possibility of flood waters. It's not
Yeah, but as a
set in
town,
stone right now, but we will have committees that will be volunteer committees that will set all this up, and we'll get everything in place as we go. We have, like he said, American Red Cross, I'm sure we'll have tons of donations if we need them.
but they get here later is my understanding. My concern is that night it floods, now everybody's inside there and here's morning and everybody can't eat. So is the town willing to set aside a chunk of money to make sure that those people are taken care of, I guess is what my concern is. There's gonna be kids, there's gonna be seniors, there's gonna be, Red Cross is not gonna get here that day. They're gonna get here the next day or the day after, but is there money, is there a way that my question is, are you willing to set aside money as a town to actually do that? Because Carbon County pretty much said, it's on you. So,
If it comes to that, and we need to look at that possibility, yes.
okay, thank you.
So I'll speak a little bit to donations and kind of how the relief stuff works. The Red Cross, there's in the incident management system that Mr. Coley was talking about, there's some things that are triggered when that goes into place. Even if it's a small framed incident, we live in a great town. We take care of our neighbors. I got peanut butter and jelly at my house we can have. Nobody's gonna go hungry. And I think the thing is that we live in a small enough town that to be able to handle that immediate need, we would be fine. The Red Cross is very quick to respond. United Way is very quick to respond. And when these things start happening, the concern that we need to have is actually people on the flip side of that who are gonna try to profit from this that aren't in this community. So we need to make sure we keep things somewhat reined in, work with the incident commander, Mike's as a fire chief. There's some distinct structure that's in there for a reason. First of all, like Mr. Coley said, I don't want just anybody walking down a bunch of fast water. It's very, very dangerous, and if you don't have the skills and you don't have the training, you can end up being a victim just as fast. So we need to make sure we keep order and a semblance, and we're using our volunteers properly. Everybody's accounted for. Accountability is a huge issue in things like this, so we just gotta make sure that's in there. I'm less concerned about being able to feed and find a place to put everybody as everybody being safe and accounted for. I think that needs to be the number one focus.
If I can interject also, the county's not leaving you on your own. So if Mike Bentley or the mayor calls and says, hey, we need to have a dozer for this, or we need to have a truck for that, or we need to have these supplies, food, water, what have you. The school's been identified as a safe place, a shelter will be brought there and disseminated. It's not, you're on your own.
Okay, thank you.
We just have to ask so that we know that we're being requested to provide that function, and that's a function to provide.
Okay, thank you.
And I agree with Audrey, the community as a whole, tends, when things happen, they tend to jump in and get together and help each other. We have a lot of people here that have chickens, and some people have 5 or 6 dozen eggs right now that, they're trying to get rid of, so I'm sure that we'll do just fine with people that are gonna jump in, and the school has a kitchen up there. I don't think we'll have too much of a problem. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Tom and Audrey. Okay, so, public comments for those not on the agenda? Yes. Just stand up and introduce yourself.
Mayor Shirley and council and the rest of us folks out here. I'm Betsy Scanlon from Red Lodge.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm concerned about the actions of the last legislature that are affecting the funding for small towns like us, schools particularly, and the effects that will ultimately end up in your laps as taxpayers, particularly the ag community, because they're going to see taxes rise this year to support the services that we are used to. I am running for the Senate, District 29, which is us, and there's 15 small towns like us. I'm from Red Lodge. There's a lot of Frombergs out there. There's Lavina, there's Reed Point, there's Graycliff. And all of us are going to see need for additional taxes, local taxes, for social services, for seniors, for disabled. Mental health is still an issue, schools. And so I am running for that position to see that our interests are protected. I don't think the legislature is addressing the rural counties' needs, the rural towns. And so I'm here to express that interest, and I'm here to support you if you elect me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've got about 14 tame rabbits running around, and they've been breeding and everything. So can we trap them and get rid of them? Is there anything wrong with that?
I don't think there's a law against it.
Okay, because they're just gonna keep multiplying.
Well, we have probably about 4 or 5 of them down at the city shop.
The tame ones? I'm not talking wild ones, I'm talking the tame ones.
There was one down there that looked like a domestic rabbit.
Yeah.
The rest of them are pretty wild.
Yeah, these are regular house tame rabbits. You can't catch them, but
Easter presents from last year, huh?
must
The year
be.
before.
I have one thing that's not on there. If next time the sheriff does come for a report, we definitely gotta let him know about East River Street. It's pretty much turned into a drag strip down the
Yeah, I
thing
talked to
anymore.
him the other day about
It's getting
that,
pretty bad.
yeah.
It's getting real bad.
Yeah, oh yeah, you guys live right on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you-
I mean, there's people going down that as fast as they can frickin' go.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's children.
Yeah, we have
We
our
have
grandkids
grandkids.
come out and playing and stuff. It's terrible. Well, and the crosswalk on the highway, how come that's never enforced? Might as well just take that down.
Mhm.
I see people and kids standing.
We've discussed that before at council meetings about putting up, actually putting up a light so that people would have to stop
Well, the thing is, I just don't wanna wait till
till something
somebody
happens.
gets run over
Yeah,
and then we start enforcing something like that. But
okay. I'll talk to him about both of those things, because they're usually pretty close around. I've seen them, 4, 5, 6 times a week over here, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
I can't remember seeing traffic stopping for our crosswalk.
They do if you hold out your hand and walk out in the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been that
I'm
way.
not encouraging
It's been
my
that-
grandkids to do
Right, and it's
that.
been that way for many, many, many years.
Yeah, I know it has.
On that same subject then, what does it take to have, for example, in Red Lodge, as you're going along the crosswalks, there's signs up there that say stop for pedestrians and are a bright color, and they catch your attention. I've also noticed that Bridger has had the signs that say 25 miles an hour and tell you how fast you're going. Why can't we? I mean, that really catches your attention when all of a sudden you come around the corner coming into Bridger, across that river, and wham,
Right,
and it just catches you.
right, and in the past, that's been discussed also, but we can take care of that.
Joliet has some
You
really nice
already
ones.
have your big
Yeah,
yellow
I like that one,
pedestrian
Joliet.
signs and a big flashing yellow light.
Not doing any good.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because the law enforcement, I've never seen them, make people, enforce it.
Well, that would be hard to be there all the time.
I know, but especially like when school's out, that would be a good
Yes,
time.
because there are a lot of
and
little kids
teach,
that drive,
teach
that ride bikes.
the
and
Wyoming
they're-
people and whoever's coming through that, if there's a new sheriff in town and if you see people waiting across the highway, stop. But especially school time.
I heard Joliet mention the signs. I'm mayor of Joliet. Those signs were $3,000 a piece.
What's a life worth?
So you have to, you have to have the money,
Right,
all right? So
Can't
when
you
you're
get a fund
talking
for
about it, we can do anything you want to, but you gotta have the money.
can't get a fund for it or anything?
Get a grant for it?
Yeah.
You can apply for grants. You can, the best way to do though is plan in advance so you don't have to look for grants.
And I don't know if anybody's aware, but, we do have the sheriff's report here. And he's been in town 63 times in the last 2 months. Different calls, us looking through their log, so. He's been on the streets at least that many times, which I think is an improvement.
Big one.
Well, yeah,
And I
and
know there are areas that we need to work on, like sitting down here on the radar. Catching some of these guys flying down that road.
But they even said that they wouldn't do that.
it's never been done.
Right.
Yeah, it hasn't been done.
I saw Ralph do it one time, sitting on East River Street. And that was right after one of these councils when people were complaining about stuff, but, yeah,
I talked to Josh about that, just last week because, I'd had a couple of complaints about the traffic on East River.
well, ever since they redid East River, when they put the new bridge in, and they redid it, and it's a good, nice, smooth road, people's been speeding down
Maybe we should put speed bumps down there.
I think you've already got a few.
Yeah. Well, those are closer up by the railroad tracks.
Some of them, you can almost park a Volkswagen.
Mm-hmm. We're looking at those two, those will be fixed shortly. Yes.
I'd like to see what they do in Phoenix. I don't know how much it would cost us, but they have the, like the radar when you're coming
cameras.
into town, and they take the picture and they send you the bill, and it's got your picture in it and your license plate. It's probably really expensive.
It is.
If this
It
other
is.
one
We've
is
discussed that
3,000.
also and looked into it in the past. But I have talked to the Department of Transportation, and I am working with Economic Development and the Rural Conservation District, and they do have grants available for things like that. But the matching funds are, they want an arm and a leg, so we'll have to look at something like that. But if we can come up with matching funds, we can do that.
Well, and that would generate revenue for us,
Mhm.
if we could do that.
Right. So, and I have been in touch with the Department of Transportation. Trying to-
Most of the time
trying-
those work good, but
Right.
you don't have to get caught a
But
couple
a
of
picture
times.
will catch up with you faster than anything else, so.
Yeah.
Do we have any other comments?
I have one question.
Yes.
Have we discovered what the lot size was for the McKenzie property?
Yes, we have, and we can bring that up in zoning, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Yeah.
Tim was just discussing the sheriff's report. Josh is not here tonight. But this report will be available for anyone that wants to look at it. Brenda will have it in her office. Do we have any changes or comments on the minutes? You have read them?
Well, I make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented and a second. All in favor? All opposed?
But thank you for having those out before the meeting so we can have a chance to read them before we ever get here. That's pretty good. Thank you. It's your bills.
Right. Do we have any questions on the bills? Has everyone gone through all the bills? I'm not sure I have a copy in my packet, but do I have a motion to accept the bills as presented?
My motion to accept them.
Do we have a second? I have a motion and a second to accept the bills.
Excuse me, who was first?
Pardon?
Nate.
Nate, thank you.
Yeah. All in favor?
And I oppose.
3 in favor,
No,
1
two
in
in
office,
favor.
2 in favor, 1 in opposition.
Yep.
Okay, next on the agenda is Gary Gray,
All right,
running for county commissioner.
yes, I am. Thank you for letting me come. I was asked how I got on the agenda, I called. I don't have any inside, I called and asked. So, a lot of what I've heard tonight is what I think I would bring to, I know I would bring to the county commissioner position, and that's thinking in the future, not waiting until something happens and trying to get money, grant money, but thinking towards the future, what we can do to be prepared any grant you get, you have to have matching funding. So if you've got the matching funding in the first place by saving, you don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, what you have to do is go borrow money. I don't like borrowing money personally. The only way I'll borrow any money is the mayor of Joliet, is if it's a last resort. I don't want to do that. Some of the things that I've done for the town of Joliet while I've been there, I've only been mayor for a little over a year, but I've been on council since 2011. Some of the things I've done, and in the process of doing, we process our wastewater and we pump it into Rock Creek, and it's gone. Well, Montana doesn't really have an abundance of water, so I can't see pumping it into the creek and it's gone. So I talked to the state about doing flood irrigation with our wastewater. And you're supposed to have a special permit for that. We're one of 5 states in the United States that you have to have a special permit. But I got the okay from the director of DNRC, and we can flood irrigate. And what that will do, the flood irrigation recharges your groundwater. If you pump it into the creek, it's gone. If you spray irrigate with it, what doesn't get used by the plants evaporates. So this is a recharge. And we really have to look at our water, because our water is, you know, they talk about drilling for oil. Our water is more important than oil. You can have all the oil in the world, if you don't have water, you can't live. Nothing can. Another thing that I looked at for the town, every town has a reserve, and it's required by the state law. And ours was sitting in a checking account, and I can tell you it was over $600,000. It's sitting in there. It isn't incurring any interest. So I wrote a resolution, or I had the town clerk write a resolution to shift 300,000 of that into a interest account. It says STL. It's a state short-term loan, and it's guaranteed. You can't lose money. It pays 2.5 to 3%. You know, if you look at that for a year, that is about it's about $7,800 a year. But it's going to pay an interest that we didn't have before. Again, putting money aside as a town, I tried to put aside what I said. We're going to put aside $5 out of each water bill. It's going to go into a savings. With the amount of bills or homes that we have in town, that's about $16,000 a year. So $32,000 2 years. We just had a well that we were working, that's $10,000. That would have been paid for in a year cash. Would have been, don't have to worry about it, you've got the funds for it. In doing that though, I looked at our water bill is what everybody calls it. That's your water, sewer, and garbage. And I broke out the water, and the water was behind by $3,000 a month, which is paid for out of our slush fund, I guess you could call it, our general fund. And the past mayor was there, and he said when I left, everything was great. Why are we behind on this? Well, we've been behind on this for years, but nobody broke it out. That's one of the things that I would bring to as county commissioner. I don't look at a budget bottom line. I look at a budget and break it up, whatever part of the budget is. And if you do that, your county budget, you're going to find out, I'm pretty sure, there's areas that you're losing money. There's areas that you're making money and it's making up for the losing money. But it has to be looked at individually. Again, this is what I've done as mayor. I can talk about what I've done in the past. I've been I've been a quality manager, a quality auditor, a systems analyst. I've been program manager on purchasing. And it helps me as far as budgets and everything. But I'd rather talk about what I've done since I've been here in Montana. And I did it because when I first got in there, I said I think the town should be ran more like a business and look at it, where you're losing money, where you're making money, where you should shift things. I think I get $48 a month, so I didn't do it for the money. I did it because, and to tell you the truth, I ran for this office. I ran against John Gruhl. When I went up and signed up, I didn't know it had a salary, so I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I'm interested in helping the county get ready for the future. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I probably won't be around when it does the county good, but I want to do it to help the county. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Right.
Question?
May I ask you a question? Do you know how much a Carbon County Commissioner makes? What would be the annual salary for that position?
Do I know what it makes? I think it starts out now at $64,000 a year.
Is that equal to what's everywhere else? Seems $60,000 a year plus benefit seems like a lot for, I don't know what the Senate makes, but that's
Well,
I don't know.
there's no comparison with the Senate
So,
whatsoever. But if you're comparing from county to county, I've heard different data on that. But it's, where we are. What I'm more worried about is where the county is as far as the future. And you're talking about money from the mayor to, I want a sign up, I want this up. There has to be money for that. My thing is I want to prepare so that we have the money.
But that's, I guess what my deal is, 60 plus benefits for a commissioner. I'm just wondering, is there a way that could come down some? Would you be for something about that coming down? As a government employee, government employees have like the best benefits. They compared to none. When people tell you work for me, you really do, because all the taxes. That seems like a lot of money from, I don't know what the population here is, but at 5 or 6 commissioners at that amount of money for
Three.
3 commissioners?
3 commissioners, and the commissioners have no control over dropping what they're being paid. I've heard different ones say if I'm elected, I'll donate my raises.
Have you ever seen one?
Huh?
Have you ever seen one donate their
You
raises?
didn't elect them yet.
Good answer, thank you.
But I understand what you're saying, and when you look at the average income in the county, that is quite high.